Women, Rajghat, Varanasi. In the 21st century, the position of a nation state depends not only on its economic, physical and military power, but also on its educational power. Now knowledge is the major source of power and in fact is our journey from the University Education Commission 1948, popularly known as Radhakrishnan Commission, to the present National Education Policy 2020 speaks of our commitment and readiness to learn, unlearn and relearn. 21st century has brought major transformation in the educational world across the globe, and Indian educational planning and policies also in the process of reinventing itself to meet the requirement of the 21st century world. The National Education Policy 2020 is a leap forward in this direction. The policy aims at evolving an educational system that would be a blend of indigenous and global, science and spiritualism, ethics and reason. It is ready to import ideas from outside, but at the same time want to remain rooted in the Indian knowledge system and presents a synthesis of modernity and tradition. Coming 2 days would be devoted to deliberation and discussion on different dimensions of NEP 2020 with a special reference to 21st century pedagogies. And definitely, what can be a better place than Varanasi, the land of Mahamana Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, land of N.E. Besant and Jiddu Krishnamurti for holding these deliberations. Now, we'll begin this program with Deep Prajwalan. I'll request all the dignitaries to come please on the stage for Deep Prajwalan. Professor Shrikant, Professor Alka Singh, Principal Vasanta College for Women, Professor Seema Srivastav, Coordinator IQAC, Professor Meenakshi Biswal, Convener of the seminar, Dr. Piyush Pahade sir, and Mrs. Rupa Murthy madam. Please join us for Deep Prajwalan. शत्रुबुद्धि विनाशाय दीप ज्योति नमस्तुते। Murthy sir, Professor Lata Pillai ma'am, Professor Anjali Bajpai, Professor Alka Singh, Professor Seema Srivastav to present the Vasant Geet.
Thank you.
Now, I'll invite our principal, Professor Singh, for welcome address. We are marching ahead towards the goal of quality education for women in 21st century. Professor Singh.
Rajghat, and in particular, the Department of Education and my internal quality assurance cell. Welcome each one of you for this two-day deliberation on NEP 2020 and especially the pedagogies that we are going to talk about. I am extremely happy. It has been my fortune to have met Professor Shrikant Murthy sir. Sir, I welcome you on behalf, letting you know that we also have an MOU with the Sri Sathya Sai University, and I think this, although there is an MOU, but we are the beneficiaries in every way, because I take this opportunity along with him, Madam, who's here with us today. I welcome you. So a warm welcome to you, Madam, for being here with us. Professor Lata Pillai, ma'am, needs no introduction, but her enduring presence in our college is particularly very important because her very presence today, on a different note, seems to motivate us, which it had done previously on a prior visit. And we were very fortunate to have her as the chairperson of the steering committee of the NEP visit to the college. And her forward-looking, meticulous, a strict outer bearing enabled us all to keep working, not only then, but thereafter. So, Madam, your enduring presence is a source of motivation for all of us, and we are very, very happy to have her here. And it was also an effort that the preparation that we had made for NEP was not the be-all and end-all during the two-day visit. It is a pursuing endeavor by all my colleagues, and I wanted Madam to see, and that is why I made it a point to request Meenakshi to have her here for this seminar, and we are very, very grateful, ma'am, for your guidance, for helping us to understand what education means, and I'm sure that all my colleagues and my students who are present here will together work for the benchmark that we have created for ourselves and landed ourselves in difficulty now, to look forward to even more hard work in future. So thank you so much, ma'am, for being with us. Our next main speaker, Professor Anjali Bajpai, ma'am. I feel so happy to have her here, a part of the fraternity, a friend, a mentor, a guide, and her very presence is a positive motivation for all of us. She is there at a beck and call, and I think that is what the parent university stands for. We have never ever any reason not to have any guidance or help from her, She has always stood by us, helped us to understand what we stand for, and today in particular, having graced this occasion, I am so happy, ma'am, to welcome a family member here once again. To enable the college to do better, guiding us, steering us, reprimanding us, telling us what to do, and yet maintaining the value system which pervades the Krishnamurti Foundation across the country and even abroad. So sir, I'm so happy that you are here for this, and especially I think this conference is also a celebration of our being together, working together, achieving together, and being happy together. So thank you so much, and all those other dignitaries of the dais who are here with us. I'm extremely grateful for your presence, because no conference can be complete without your presence. And in particular, my students of the Department of Education, who have worked so hard along with the department, teachers and IQAC to make this conference happen, which is a very important step to the introduction of NEP 2020. We haven't yet implemented NEP 2020, waiting for the university to do so, but it will definitely enable us to be able to understand the pedagogy which comes into being in NEP, which begins with the culturally, socially diverse aspects brought into practice, along with the present day requirement of the 21st century with its multifarious ways in which teaching can be made better, more lively, student-friendly, and a challenge for the fraternity that is handling the education system. On this note, a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Now, following the tradition of Atiti Devo Bhava, we'll begin the felicitation ceremony. I request our principal madam to felicitate the chief guest, Professor Shrikant Murthy K, Honorable Vice Chancellor. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Ranjana Singh from Thank you, madam.
Chairpersons in the dais, Professor Shrikant Murthy sir, VC, Sri sir, Lata Pillai, our dearest and respected ma'am, former advisor NAC.
Change, change, change and change. Change is the growth. To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change. So often we need change. In the 21st century, significant changes are occurring related to the new scientific discoveries, informatization, internetization, globalization, the development of astronautics, robotics, and artificial intelligence. This century is called the age of digital technologies and knowledge. Digital technologies change our way of life, ways of communication, way of thinking, feeling, channel of influence on other people, social skills and social behavior. As it is told, the high-tech environment, computers, smartphones, video games, internet search engines reshape the human brain. The concept of web came 25 years ago. The internet was established 20 years ago. iPhones and iPads are in common talk now. We use multiple applications. We change our mobile phones every 2 years. Every day, new apps are in use. With this fast-changing digital device, every facet of life has on the way to change. Digital world demands change. All of us are in a state of turmoil. How to accommodate with this changing scenario? Unless we bridge the gap between the outer change and the inner change, the society will face an unbalanced state. Students must be equipped to live in multifaceted, multitasking, technology-driven world. Educational institutions from school to university must adapt to these changing scenarios. Each and everyone should get equal access to this new technological world. In the era of constructivism and connectivism, innovative pedagogies should be adopted to empower students. Students need lifelong learning skills, that is communication and information skills, problem solving and thinking skills, and interpersonal and self-directional skills. Keeping all these situations in mind, NEP 2020 sets the vision to form an educational system which will be deep-rooted in Indian ethos, that transform India, will provide sustainable, equal, qualitative education for all. That India will be global knowledge superpower. The children of that India will feel proud to be an Indian only in thought, but also in spirit, intellect and deeds, as well as to develop knowledge, skills, values and dispositions that support responsible commitment to human rights, sustainable development and living, and global well-being. Thereby talks about the innovative pedagogy to meet 21st century skills. Giving utmost importance to Indian culture and heritage, mostly it focuses on holistic growth, sustainable growth, with value inculcation in each and every sphere of life. The need of the hour is the transforming pedagogies with learner-centered approach. The main types of modern transforming pedagogies are social pedagogy, critical pedagogy, culturally responsive pedagogy, Socratic pedagogy, environmental pedagogy and peace pedagogy. Social pedagogy is all about being with others and forming relationship, being in the present and focusing on initiating learning processes, being authentic and genuine, using one's own personality, and about being there in a supportive classroom instruction. It talks about the cultural diversity among learners, and it helps to get awareness and develop understanding on cultural difference amongst learners. Socratic pedagogy involves a shared dialogue between the teacher and the student. It encourages learner to gain knowledge from different sources besides their prescribed textbooks. It helps them to find alternative solutions to problems. Environmental pedagogy talks about saturating the environment of the institution with information and positive energy. This scientific direction in pedagogy connected with social environment and the socialization of individual has resulted in a new disciplinary science, social pedagogy. It deals with other mechanism of socialization, that is imprinting, imitation, identification. Thanks to the development of psychology, the theory of upbringing develops coping strategies, coping behavior, and the concept of lifestyle. The peace pedagogy is a purposeful teaching learning model that builds upon acquiring values, knowledge, attitude, skills, and behaviors to live in harmony with oneself, others, and the natural environment. This transforming pedagogy aims to develop the skills and knowledge students need to succeed in work, life, and citizenship. This improves teaching quality, encourages different learning styles, enables learning for students with special needs, and clarifies learning objectives. This is learner-centered, task-based, and activity-based, resource-based, interactive in nature, integrative in nature, and peer collaboration. These pedagogies need not lots of conceptual clarity and practices with discussion before the implementation. Academicians, researchers, policymakers, and curriculum planners must have proper dialogue before putting these into practice. Thus, this seminar will provide a platform for dialogue and critical brainstorming sessions for academicians, researchers, policymakers, curriculum planners before implementing these modern pedagogies to reach the vision of NEP 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam, for discussing the theme in detail. You rightly pointed out that 21st century world needs different type of skills among our students, and here comes the role of transformative pedagogies. And we are very hopeful that in coming 2 days, the deliberations which will take place will give new directions to the researchers, policymakers, as well as for teachers. Now, this is the time for souvenir release. Our souvenir is ready with us. I'll request our distinguished guest to kindly release the souvenir of the seminar. The souvenir is compiled by Dr. Rajiv Jaiswal, Dr. Jai Singh, and Ms. Princey, student of AMID. I request them also to please join us on the stage for the release. So I request Dr. Jai Singh, Dr. Rajiv Jaiswal, if he is here, and Ms. Princey to please join. Thank you. Of any seminar. So a seminar completes with the publication of the proceeding of the seminar. But this time our convener has planned it in a different way. She planned that there would be a pre-seminar publication. Dr. Jai Singh ji and Dr. Yogita Beri to please come on the stage, because it was only because of your hard work that it could become possible. There are total 31 chapters in this book. Sri Satya Sai University of Human Excellence, Kalaburgi, Karnataka, as the chief guest. Professor Murthy has his PhD in Computer Science from the University of South Campus, Vice Principal and Principalship at Nagarjuna College of Engineering and Technology, Headship of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Global Academy of Technology, Bengaluru, and at present Vice Chancellorship of Sri Satya Sai. Data mining, natural language processing and artificial intelligence. He has been a recipient of Dr. Rajendra Prasad Award by International Eminent Educationist Forum, New Delhi. Once again,
today's special speaker, Professor Anjali Bajpayeeji, the convener of this today's seminar, Professor Meenakshi Viswalji, and the coordinator, Professor Seema Srivastavaji, all the esteemed faculty members, and the Vasanta College for Women for having arranged this NEP 2020 Transforming Pedagogies of 21st Century, a 2-day seminar in this premises. Also, I am very much thankful to you for giving me a wonderful opportunity to be amidst of you to talk and share my thoughts. Now we are speaking on education at 2020, National Education Policy 2020. When we are talking on education, we are forgetting the values, especially human values. Now we look at the technology. As already Meenakshi Madam has told, the invent of technology. Now we are almost reaching the 5th generation of internet and entering to the 6th generation with a lot of handheld devices. But most of them are cheated, and most of the complaints enlarged in cyber security. And look at the environment and neighboring countries or our own friends or in our own atmosphere. Where are the values for the human beings? Now we are concentrating more on information technology, so informative education. But I say now we should concentrate on more on transformative education rather than informative. Of course, information is needed, but one who we say educated to be a transformed person with human values. So value education, often referred to as moral or character education, plays a fundamental role in shaping individuals and society as a whole. It encompasses a set of principles, beliefs and ethical values that guide one's behavior and decision making. Value education goes beyond academic knowledge, emphasizing the development of virtues, empathy, and a strong moral compass. In an increasingly complex and interconnected world, the importance of value education cannot be overstated. What is value education then? It aims to instill in individuals a strong sense of morality and ethics. It teaches them to distinguish between right and wrong, to make responsible choices, and to consider the welfare of others. This education is not limited to a particular age group or institution, but should be lifelong endeavor, starting at home and continuing throughout one's educational journey. As a policy, the NEP seeks to not only overcome the challenges of the conventional education system being practiced so far, but also envisions to make education as a means to enlighten individuals in the right manner. Thus, starting from schools, education to higher education, several aspects of teaching and learning such as the curriculum, methodology, pedagogy, measures to improve quality, etc. are discussed in the context of improvising the quality of education being imparted. Especially in Indian culture, values have always been given high importance from the beginning. History provides with ample examples of men and women of great character who have been doing everything in their might not to compromise upon and hold such noble values. They might not to compromise upon and hold such noble values in their lives. Especially in this land only, I can remember Madam Mohan Malaviya ji, Annie Besant ji, Jittu Krishnamurthy ji, are exemplary in this. the standards set by such noble people who led by example were for the next generations to emulate and further pass it on. However, unfortunately, with the passage of time and due to several other factors such as cultural shifts, invasions, etc., the practice of values has declined over a period of time, the effects of which can be seen at individual as well as societal level. So there are two aspects of the inculcation of values. To understand and firmly believe in the need to inculcate values for a harmonious living, to practice the values in daily life and act. While the practice of values in daily life is important, it can be completely achieved only if the first aspect mentioned above is taken care of, which is to understand in the first place and firmly believe the need to inculcate values for a harmonious living. The best way to accomplish the same is by integrating the study of values into education system, where students get the opportunity to study the basics of values from their early age. The focus is to seamlessly integrate the subtle aspects of values and ethics into education system. While some institutions have already recognized the need for the same and started imparting values-based education system in their own ways, the big move happened with the National Education Policy 2020 introduced by the Government of India. The NEP was introduced as a timely measure to relook at the way education is being imparted and make it more holistic, practical, and broad in its approach. NEP 2020 emphasizes the need to integrate values-based education into the core curriculum at all levels of education. The policy recognizes that education should not only focus on academic excellence, but also on developing the ethical and moral values of the students. The curriculum must include basic arts, crafts, humanities, games, sports, fitness, languages, literature, culture, and values, in addition to science and mathematics, to develop all aspects and capabilities of learners and make education more well-rounded, useful, and fulfilling to the learner. The key features of NEP is that it lays particular emphasis on including various human values such as respect for all persons, empathy, tolerance, human rights, gender equality, non-violence, global citizenship, inclusion, equity, etc. The fundamental human values such as truth, righteousness, love, peace, non-violence, etc. are included as a part of this value education. Modern India is in the midst of revival of age-old traditions where value-based education of moral learning is making a comeback in a big way. Therefore, every parent today strives to provide the best education for children that is most just confined to books but leads to their holistic development. For them, both academics as well as value education is essential. Through value education, we can develop strong character and values among children, thereby enabling them to use their knowledge for the benefit of all. Therefore, schools and other educational institutions are realizing the significance of value education and are making it an intrinsic part of their curriculums. The role of the school is providing moral educations or value-based education cannot be overstated. In the current scenario where life is fast-paced and there is tough competition on every front, the importance of value education has emerged in a big way. Typically, value education is imparted at three levels: spiritual, social, and cultural. All of these values are interconnected as they align the student with themselves, others and their immediate ecosystems to lead to a more peaceful existence that looks the big picture rather than individual goals alone. So the roles of the education in personality development, social harmony, ethical decision making, responsible citizenship, and emotional intelligence. We at Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence gives more values and more weightage for values-based education. That is why we have signed a memorandum of understanding with Vasanta College of Women for mutual collaboration. Those who have not learned about our university, I'll just give you a brief note on this. Sri Sathya Sai University Education for Human Excellence was established in 2019 under the stewardship of Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. We have a main campus at Kalburgi of northern part of Karnataka state, and we have one campus, PG campus at Muddenahalli, which is the birthplace of Sir M. Vishwesvaraya, and one exclusive ladies campus at Nalkadranayali, Chikaballapur. We are offering general education like BA, BSc, and we have a special program on BA in Vedic Studies and Performing Arts, then post-graduation and doctoral programs. But speciality is we don't charge anything to any students. We take students at the level of 6th standard who are poorest of the poor and bring them in single dress. We will provide everything what they need, from toothbrush to toothpaste to comb to socks, shoes, dress, sports shoes, everything. They need not spend even a single paise. Even if they go for vacation or if they go on tour or something like, we will pay them the amount for the train. We will get them reservation done by our own. Food and boarding is also free of cost, and we are working on 3 verticals. Our especially Prashanti Balamandira Trust, who is the sponsoring agency of our university, one on nutrition. With this program, we are giving a solid breakfast for more than 30 lakh students every day since 2012. All across India, completely nutrition program which gives micronutrients in the form of Sure for all the government schools where only midday is available. But we recognize that students who are going hungry in the morning may not be able to concentrate on their school work till midday. They wait for midday school meals. So rather than they should have a strong breakfast. And this has shown a very good improvement in the attendance as well as the activities of the students. The second one is medical. We have started a world first free medical college. We don't have any charge for students coming from Karnataka Education Authority. Today, 20 lakhs to 30 lakhs is the fees for medical students to expend. And recently I know one master degree MD seat was given to a student who scored 7 in the NEP, because the NMC has taken out the minimum marks to be scored for PG NET, and it is for 11 crores. 11 crores paid student, I don't know how he can serve the poor, but we don't have any billing counter in our hospitals. So anybody from any corner of our country, even the world, he will get a free treatment. And we have pediatrical specially treatment for congenital heart diseases, and from the day 1 baby to the 12 years old baby without any charge. Even their attendants will be given free accommodation and free transportation and other things. And only the minimum expectation from our Sadguru is, after getting MBBS 5.5 years, they should serve in our own hospitals. We are situated in rural areas for 5 years. I think shortly our Sadhguru is opening one more cancer hospital in Varanasi in near future. Last time he announced that. We are also waiting for that, and we have our women for mutual collaboration. Those who have not learned about our university, I'll just give you a brief note on this. Sri Sathya Sai University Education for Human Excellence was established in 2019 under the stewardship of Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. We have a main campus at Kalburgi of northern part of Karnataka state, and we have one campus, PG campus at Muddenahalli, which is the birthplace of Sir M. Vishwesvaraya, and one exclusive ladies campus at Nalkadranayali, Chikaballapur. We are offering general education like BA, BSc, and we have a special program on BA in Vedic Studies and Performing Arts, then post-graduation and doctoral programs. But speciality is we don't charge anything to any students. We take students at the level of 6th standard who are poorest of the poor and bring them in single dress. We will provide everything what they need, from toothbrush to toothpaste to comb to socks, shoes, dress, sports shoes, everything. They need not spend even a single paise. Even if they go for vacation or if they go on tour or something like, we will pay them the amount for the train. We will get them reservation done by our own. Food and boarding is also free of cost, and we are working on 3 verticals. Our especially Prashanti Balamandira Trust, who is the sponsoring agency of our university, one on nutrition. With this program, we are giving a solid breakfast for more than 30 lakh students every day since 2012. All across India, completely nutrition program which gives micronutrients in the form of Sure for all the government schools where only midday is available. But we recognize that students who are going hungry in the morning may not be able to concentrate on their school work till midday. They wait for midday school meals. So rather than they should have a strong breakfast. And this has shown a very good improvement in the attendance as well as the activities of the students. The second one is medical. We have started a world first free medical college. We don't have any charge for students coming from Karnataka Education Authority. Today, 20 lakhs to 30 lakhs is the fees for medical students to expend. And recently I know one master degree MD seat was given to a student who scored 7 in the NEP, because the NMC has taken out the minimum marks to be scored for PG NET, and it is for 11 crores. 11 crores paid student, I don't know how he can serve the poor, but we don't have any billing counter in our hospitals. So anybody from any corner of our country, even the world, he will get a free treatment. And we have pediatrical specially treatment for congenital heart diseases, and from the day 1 baby to the 12 years old baby without any charge. Even their attendants will be given free accommodation and free transportation and other things. And only the minimum expectation from our Sadhguru is, after getting MBBS 5.5 years, they should serve in our own hospitals. We are situated in rural areas for 5 years. I think shortly our Sadhguru is opening one more cancer hospital in Varanasi in near future. Last time he announced that. we are also waiting for that, and we have complete, only one Kalburgi campus is having the degree campus. And we are educating more than 5,000 children now in our campuses, and most of them are and the second important thing is most of the students, more than 50% of the students who passed out recently are first time literates in their family. So we are selecting a student from the family, and 50% of girl students are the gold medalists in our university. And during PG, not only free of cost education, we are providing stipend for them also to work with the administration, and also earn and learn. Both are happening for the student, but learning without any cost. So this is the service that we are going, and of course in our we have already shifted from state board schools to NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling, wherein a student coming out from a medical college will be a doctor, a student coming out from a law college will be a God equal man. So this is what our motto, and definitely I extend a warm welcome to all of you to visit our university anytime. Our students during Rupa is there, so she is student welfare officer. She is taking that responsibility, and she will be, you can learn from our side, because we say education in all the respects, one who is educated. So to conclude with this, value education is not a luxury but a necessary in today's society. It serves as the foundation for creating responsible, compassionate and ethical individuals who contribute positively to their communities and the world at large.
Clap for the service to Satya University for the excellence is doing for humanity. So, thank you so much, sir, and I definitely look forward toward that we should have a faculty exchange program with Satya University so that we can see that environment and can learn a lot from that. You rightly pointed out that we need an education which is not merely informative but transformative. And what can make a good society? That is a blend of Professor Lata Pillai, former advisor, NEP. Professor Pillai has more than present as the freelance educational consultant. Madam has been a recipient of many prestigious awards. To name a few: Jawaharlal Nehru Birth Centenary Award, USIA, International Visitor Program, USA, International Resident Fellow, University of Calgary, Canada. And on a personal note, I must say, ma'am is a teacher. When she teaches, that time also she is teaching, and when she is not formally teaching, then also if you want to learn, you can learn a lot. I learned one thing when at the time of souvenir release, the way she was unwrapping the souvenir. And that was also a learning. And we are very, very fortunate to have you, ma'am, and to have the opportunity to learn from you once again. Professor Lata Pillai.
Respected chief guest of today's function, Professor Sri Kantamurthy, Professor Alka Singh, Principal of Vasanta College, Professor Seema Srivastav, the IQAC Coordinator, Professor Bajpai from Dean of Education from BHU, Professor Meenakshi, who's coordinating this workshop, Madam Rupa, delegates of this two-day conference. Thank you for inviting me here today to be in your midst. It's such a pleasure to come back without the burden of having to evaluate an institution. Let me be honest, I feel so carefree and so light to be here. And just, I was just mine is not a very formal speech because you have enough formal speeches and theories, okay? So I was just recollecting, I may have spent maximum 36 hours with you out of the 48 hours I was given last time maybe 32 to 34 hours. Waking time is what I spent with you. But since I entered the campus here yesterday, there's such a feeling of warmth and wantedness, and I think that's what gives the Krishnamurti institutions a different flavor, and continue doing it as long as I'm there. So there's a difference, there's an energy that you feel, and that's what I want to communicate to you. I want to congratulate the Department of Education and IQAC for taking up this venture of discussing what are the pedagogies, the transformative pedagogies as it's called. Many speakers will have told you, the earlier speakers have told you, future speakers will tell you about how higher education the world over is undergoing change. That undoubtedly is happening. Higher education is at crossroads, and particularly in our country now, with all the changes that have taken place, it's an amalgamation of what happened during the pandemic, what happened with the launch of the NEP, the students' aspirations that are changing, the interventions which technology is making. So it's a total amalgamation of all these, including what they say education 4.0. So an educational institution really needs to cope with all these changes and find its, shall I say, balance or its stand somewhere as to how do we respond to these changes and how do we make ourselves relevant and meaningful. I'll leave the details to Professor Bajpai, so I will not speak of theories, constructs, models. It could be behaviorism, constructivism, whatever, liberationism. And I took the liberty, since the IQAC is coordinating this workshop, I said let's look at it from the quality dimension. What is it that is going to impact us as individual teachers and as colleges who are part of a larger ecosystem? In the recent past, you may have heard various models that are coming up, various methods of teaching, various ways of imparting pedagogy. It could be hybrid learning, virtual learning. You must have heard of experiential learning, value-based education. I saw there are sessions. There is sessions on andragogy, etc. A whole plethora of pedagogies and techniques are being flooded into the place of education. How does one choose as a teacher, how does one choose what suits my student, or what do I decide to impart in a classroom is a challenge that each individual teacher has to face. So I think the most important element of modern higher education is the ability to keep our students engaged in the classrooms as well as prepare them for lifelong learning. We cannot give them enough, they have access to enough information, they have access to all multi-modes of information. What we can teach them is how do you sift through this information, how do we make them understand what is relevant to their requirements, and how do they grow in this increasingly competitive world. So lifelong learning once again is about being resilient. The UNESCO models or the frameworks by OECD will tell you how you should be, how we should make our students resilient, be co-agents of change, etc., etc. While this is going on at one side of our trajectory, equally important is that the mundane exercise of evaluation of institutions that you all go through as a part of accreditation. So far as curriculum was concerned, we would ask institutions, how did you change your curriculum? How many times did you change your curriculum? What are the changes that you have brought about when you did this? How did you get feedback? Now the whole paradigm will shift, and what gains importance is how do you make your curriculum multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary. Many of these words are used interchangeably, but I think when we get down to doing the curriculum, we need to use it more specifically. So how do we provide space in our curriculum for innovation? How do we provide a forum for different learners? We talk of learning becoming more and more personalized, more and more customized, and not one shoe fits all. So when we begin to look at it from a quality dimension or from an evaluation dimension, what we will begin focusing on is what happens exactly when you form the curriculum. Do you have a curriculum committee which looks into these empty spaces, and can we grow in these particular areas? Vasanta College, for example, which is admitted to the privileges of BHU, may say that, you know, we will do things or we can do things only when the university implements it. That is one side of the, I mean, to me it's a very minor dimension, but I think there are a whole lot of things which institutions, affiliated colleges, constituent colleges can do beyond the syllabus, and that's where the whole curriculum becomes important. And that's why this whole idea of transformative pedagogies. Transformative pedagogies, of course, is a, you know, shall I say, a glorified term right now. But what that it seeks to do is, what are the innovative pedagogical approaches that you adopt? How does one look at things vis-a-vis their context, beliefs, attitudes? And how do you create space for innovation, create a space for self-reflection? Now, if one were to talk about the Krishnamurti Foundation, I think JK's teachings and entire philosophy was based on this self-reflection. So that's the whole area that transformative pedagogies talks about. You know, what one would expect as we go along and looking at the NEP from a curriculum perspective is, how is the curriculum developed? How do you provide avenues for students to have short-term courses? How do you provide entry and exit for them? The NEP talks of multiple entry and exit systems. Now, how as an affiliated or constituent college can I provide this exit system for my students? And how do I add value to what they are already doing? So these, I think, are the important aspects as far as curriculum is concerned. Sometimes whenever evaluation happens, it is human tendency and automatically extended to institutional patterns. We try to do many things to just jump the loop, right? We are a part of a large system. So you try to do many things to jump the loops, but with the whole framework being changed and saying that you need to have, you know, all these options available, flexibility is the key. Students, can students complete a program or a course in a shorter period of time than what has been stipulated? Does time really matter in the whole scheme of things? I think these are new ideas which you all have to deliberate with. And how do we use this, you know, this new things, like we are saying, enhanced learning? Can we have multiple majors? Can we have majors and minors? Can we have dual specializations? These are the various innovative transactional tools, innovation curriculum that is happening across the country. I'm sure BHU will soon adopt this, you know, the NEP, but with or without NEP, can we find a theme within our own system to provide students this additional values is what we are talking about. When it comes to, you know, when it comes to pedagogy, there may be many things that we are already doing. You may be using a case study approach, you may be doing reflection, you may be asking your students to do project work, but can we structure this in some particular way so that we provide the true experiential learning? Can different subjects be taught in different ways? Because all pedagogy cannot be applied uniformly. So what are we doing? Do it more consciously, do it more with a specific aim. And that's why the focus now is on outcome-based education. You all must have heard, you know, as early practitioners or education practitioners, we've heard of the Bloom's taxonomy and now the revised Bloom's taxonomy, the assurance of learning. In the whole accreditation process, it's a simple clock with 12 needles, but the clock resets itself every day. So it's not what we won in the past which matters, nor what our failures were, but what we can do for the future is what really matters. So that's why this whole outcome-based education, we need to, make ourselves aware and create a kind of forum within institutions so that we can map our course outcomes, program outcomes, and also see if we can measure the attainment of these outcomes. Now, and colleges in one part of the country cannot be left behind. So this forms a part of the pedagogy that is taking place. There are institutions which have now, I'm sure many of you all have registered on the Academic Bank of Credits. The NEP, of course, is a progressive document, it's an aspirational document, but the devil is in the details and how we implement it. Like Dr. Preeti Singh said, yes, we've had many commissions, we've had many reports, but then how we have implemented it, how we have translated into action is what really matters. So with ABC, ABC has a laudable intention, and many students have registered on it, but we need to see how would we move our students from one institution to another, how would credits be recognized, and these details I'm sure will, happen over a period of time. Whenever people talk of transformative pedagogy, the immediate attention goes to digital technology. I'm not saying that one should do it, but I'm saying as we go in this journey of building our institutions, tomorrow when you get evaluated, these are the questions that will be asked of you. How have you created this kind of an environment? There are colleges now which are going to smart campuses. So, it cannot be something which is a dream or which is something very far off. Very soon, because the age of technology or the change with which technology happens is so fast. So these are a few thoughts that I had on technology. I think we should also look into what is happening in the area of research. Research no longer, especially in India, funding has become quite scarce. Of course, they have set up the National Research Funding, NRF, but funds are yet to come in. And till then, I think it's only partnerships between institutions, partnerships between industry and academia, partnerships between educational institutions and civil societies, and tap funding from the CSR of the companies. These are the present sources of research funding that we have. And I know it's difficult for small colleges to look into this space and work on them. When it comes to the infrastructure of an institution, what are the changes that will happen with the pedagogies that you begin deploying? There need to be more open spaces. Open spaces literally and figuratively, because you need to look at education as an experiment in innovation, an experiment in value education, as Professor Sri Kantamurthy mentioned. So for this, we need to kind of break borders and barriers and see if we can look at things in a different way. And that's why infrastructure becomes very important, both in terms, in fact, in many places, the change has taken place. You no longer call it lecture rooms, or you no longer call it classrooms. It's all become learning spaces, because learning spaces is a more accepted terminology right now. So the infrastructure will change as far as the requirements of students are concerned, and of course technology will come in a big way. How do we keep our students equipped with the required technology, and how do we keep our education institutions updated? Even now, the principal sent me a register that we begin signing on as a document, or a document of evidence, or a document for, to say that minutes of meetings are done and everything is. But technology has gone so far ahead that there are ready-made software available for all that we are talking about. And it's not expensive, it's only a matter of applying our mind to it and then getting a few core people to work on these dimensions. Ma'am, no offense meant for the register, but what I'm saying is, be it examinations, be it admissions, be it our meetings, any of these aspects, there are ready-made good software available, and you could always contextualize it to your requirements. So we need to look and think beyond what we have been doing so far if we have to make this difference to our the education that we impart in our colleges. I'm sure the college, the proceedings of these 2 days, you will have a lot more to discuss when it comes to transformative pedagogies. You will talk about the flipped classrooms, you will talk about the mapping of courses, you will talk about the difficulties that you have. Whatever be the difficulties, I think once we get out of the seminar, we should go with a limited agenda that yes, I've attended a 2-day seminar and some of these things, some of what I've heard over here, I will implement back in my classroom and back in the institutions to which I belong. Because I'm one who strongly believes that change begins with individuals, and no amount of external, like I say, no amount of external pressure can create the change unless there is an internal will to do so. So with these few words, I'd like to thank you all for inviting me here and wish you all the best in the 2 days ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, madam, for giving us guidelines in detail for preparing ourselves for implementation of National Education Policy 2020. You rightly pointed out that we have to, however good the policy may be, if we lack at the level of implementation, then we are not able to get the result of that policy. So there are a number of guidelines which we got from you. Thank you so much, madam, for your address. Now moving ahead, we have with us as the chief speaker, Professor Anjali Bajpayee, madam, Dean, Faculty of Education. Madam has contributed to academia, curriculum studies, and we consider you as the part of extended Vasanta family. Your contribution is a lot to the world of academia. I welcome you, ma'am, and it's Professor Anjali Bajpayee.
Thank you so much. सर्वप्रथम जैसा कि हमेशा होता है, मैं पंडित मदन मोहन मालवीय, माता इनी विसुंठ और चिद्दू कृष्णमूर्ति जी को नमन करते हुए मंच पे बैठे सभी विद्वज्जनों को एक बार पुनः आपका स्वागत करती हूँ वसंता कॉलेज में, क्योंकि मैडम ने कहा है आई एम एक्सटेंडेड फैमिली, सो आई टेक दैट ऑनर ऑफ वेलकमिंग यू ऑल हियर. एंड आई डू नॉट नो मेन स्पीकर, मुझे तो लगता है ऑलरेडी जो कहा जा चुका है उससे ज़्यादा मैं क्या बोलूँगी. सो आई टेक दैट वर्ड मेन स्पीकर अवे. आई जस्ट वुड समराइज व्हाट हैज़ बीन सेड and of course put forward my thoughts on NEP 2020. Being from education, a student of education, a learner of education, it is expected that we look at the policy in a very holistic way, putting out the important, जिसको कहते हैं ना निचोड़, लोगों के सामने रखने की बात करनी चाहिए. First of all, we had such wonderful example, Professor Murthy, the Vice Chancellor of Satya Sai University. He explained so well that what can be a model of value education. I always believe that values are caught, not taught. They are seen, they are learned when you have an example in front of you. And such examples which he put forward, like free education to the people who are required there, education to students and asking them to serve the institution. It is a very noble thought कि आपने जहाँ से शिक्षा प्राप्त की या जो आपका पेरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है वहाँ पे आप किस तरह से अपना योगदान कर सकते हैं. और मेरा अपना विश्वास है, I may be wrong, that जहाँ से आप शिक्षा प्राप्त करते हैं, जिस इंस्टीट्यूशन से, वो जो आपका लगाव हो जाता है वो कहीं और से नहीं हो सकता, और आपका कंट्रीब्यूशन इट इज़ वेरी सम्शियस देयर. वो कंट्रीब्यूशन अलग तरह का होता है क्योंकि आप अपना मान के करते हैं, आप किसी दूसरे के लिए नहीं कर रहे. तो a very noble thought. Then he also pointed out that Morning breakfast is being provided, and if you go through NEP 2020, they have said that the children of early age who come to the foundational stages should have a sumptuous breakfast, because खाली पेट कुछ भी नहीं होता है, ये सबको पता है, हम मानते हैं। दिन भर खाली हम महिलाएं लोग ही होती हैं जो दिन भर करवा चौथ का व्रत रह के और फिर शाम को ये करते हैं, बट इट इज़ डिफिकल्ट एंड वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग आउट ऑफ आवर children कि if they are not nutritionally feeded well, probably they will have fatigue, probably they will have uninterest, not interested in classroom, there will be disruptions in the classroom. So that is a very important thing, and since I said policy document has mentioned it and the Satya Sai University is already doing it, so they should be applauded for it. I think it's a wonderful measure. Then Professor Pillai, with her vast experience, it is more than 30 years as Madam said, she has outlined how institutions can go into various areas. See, she has mentioned these policy document. I have it in front of me. It is a 70-page document in English and around 105-page document in Hindi. But what the policy document says is the guidelines. You have to, again, Madam very rightly pointed out, you have to see in the implementation aspects what can be there. It is जब हम छात्रों से बात करते हैं स्कूलों की, तो NCERT की किताबें अगर आपने देखी हैं, ज़्यादा मोटी नहीं होती हैं, लेकिन एक एक लाइन में बड़ी गूढ़ चीज़ें लिखी होती हैं. So similarly is the policy document. It is a simple 75-page document or a 100-page document, but what it says in one-liners is very important, and that gives us a pathway forward how we have to proceed. Now, if Madam has rarely pointed out that we have talked of experiential learning, we have talked of andragogy, we have talked of technology integrated learning in teaching learning, and also how this can be taken up as pedagogical practices in times to come, because we have to focus on the outcome-based learning and also what we actually need. The outcomes we planned from before, but we have to see how much the learners reach what the outcomes have been planned. That is very important, and there is where the assessment comes. हमको ये देखना है जो हमने लक्ष्य निर्धारित किए हैं, जो उद्देश्य निर्धारित किए हैं, उनको हमारे ज़्यादातर लर्नर प्राप्त कर पा रहे हैं कि नहीं. It is not only we have the objectives, और ये हम कहते हैं, अगर जो लोग शिक्षा शास्त्र के हैं, जब हम लोग अपने ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को फ्रेम करते हैं तो हम लिखते हैं कि 80% छात्र कम से कम इन उद्देश्यों को प्राप्त कर सकेंगे. तो ये बात हमें देखनी है, या 10 में से 8 चीज़ों को ज़्यादातर छात्र प्राप्त कर सकेंगे, ये हम लिखते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि हम कहते हैं हमारे पास एक गाइडलाइन होनी चाहिए कि कितना प्राप्त हुआ. और पुरानी चीज़ है, ब्लूम ने 1954 में ही कहा था मास्टरी लर्निंग की बात, कि हमें लक्ष्य निर्धारित करना है कि जो जितना प्राप्त कर सकता है. Individual differences are there. Madam is from psychology and we all have studied psychology as educational psychology field of education. But from psychology she must be knowing better that individuals are different. हम सभी भिन्न होते हैं और सभी की क्षमताएं भिन्न होती हैं. उन क्षमताओं को कहाँ तक प्राप्त कर लेना है, वहाँ तक प्राप्त करना है जहाँ तक हम कर सकते हैं. That is where the individual differences, what the policy talks of equity, कि we have the groups which are socially disadvantaged, they can be the disability sector, they can be women, they can be language sector. ये सारी चीज़ें हैं जो कि हमें ध्यान में रखनी है जब हम अपनी कक्षाओं में बात कर रहे हैं. So that has to be kept in mind that every learner, she talked of customized pedagogy for learner. Every learner should learn जहाँ तक उसके लिए संभव हो, as much as he can learn, and that is what the policy says. We become examination oriented, और जब हम institution की बात भी करते हैं मैडम, so we become assessment oriented. I mean, numbers are more important than actual things. And when you're talking of pedagogy to be customized, institutions should also be customized. You cannot measure all institutions on the same scale, because all institutions have different abilities, different capabilities. So that assessment aspect also has to be looked on, and I would request Madam Pillai to see that, because it is different. You cannot assess all institutions on the same parameters as you do not do the learning. So what the NEP, now I come back to NEP, says, it has actually talked of transforming the structure, school structure, and probably higher education also. Although the pillars which the NEP focuses on, flexibility, equality, equity, affordability, accountability, those all are there, and they talk of that all sort of education, institution, educational structures should have flexibility for the learners, but they have given a structure, and the structure for school education has changed from the previous policies which we had. Now we say we will begin at age of 3, which we were beginning at age of 5 or 6. And they have said it will be 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure, with the foundational stage where we will have experiential learning. Now experiential learning is a term which they have referred across structure. It is also in the higher education, it is also in the school education, but they have adopted different sort of pedagogy for this experiential learning. Like when they're talking of foundational stage, they are saying it should be more of what the environment has for the learner, and they are saying of storytelling. Because जो हमारे छोटे बच्चे होते हैं, we all know they are more interested in stories. So that sort of, then when they come to the middle structure or the secondary structure, they have said there should be flexibility of integrating different sort of pedagogies, cross-cultural pedagogy. They have used a term. Now this term of cross-cultural pedagogy, it actually talks of integrating culture, integrating arts, integrating sports in your teaching, learning experiences which you share in the class. Now cross-cultural pedagogy, then we have innovative pedagogies and digital pedagogies. All these terms are mentioned separately in the policy at different places. When we talk of the traditional pedagogies, we have been talking of the methods which we had traditionally, lecture, demonstration, and using certain aids in classroom projects. But these pedagogies which were there in before have to be accustomed, have to be renovated as per the need of the new learning. See, our learner's requirement has changed. पहले भी अभी जय सिंह जी का एक सेमिनार था जिसमें हम लोगों ने डिजिटल डिवाइड की बात की, एंड उसमें इट वाज मेंशन दैट डिजिटल डिवाइसेस, डिजिटल डेटा इज accessible to the rural population also in the same parity as per the urban population. But where they are using this digital data, how they are using this digital data, that has to be kept in mind. Right now, we were talking that digital, Meenakshi also mentioned in her that the digital tools of learning have to be incorporated in our teaching learning process. We are talking of flipped classroom, but what has to be kept in mind that learner today has access to information much more than we had in our times. That information is there at a click, at a push of a button. What we have to do, how to incorporate the, but what can be the best way, what can be the efficient way, what can be the most suitable way of incorporating this pedagogy, this device into our pedagogical practices, which we say as digital pedagogy in our teaching learning classroom. And that is across, it is not for just higher education learners, it is across the learning structures we have. It is our learners, our children are more technology friendly today. Even small child of 3 to 4 or 5 knows how to operate मोबाइल एंड दे आर ऑल सीइंग. आजकल तो माता पिता भी ऐसा होता है, बच्चे को खाना खिलाना है तो वो मोबाइल पे एक वो लगा देते हैं और बच्चा देखता जाता है और खाना खाता जाता है. सो दिस इज हाउ वी आर ट्राइंग टू. ऐसे ही जो पहले हम कविताएं बोलते थे, श्लोक बोलते थे, अगर उनको उसी प्रकार से हम बच्चे को पहले से सुनाते जाए, बिकॉज अगेन as the policy has mentioned that early years 3 to 6, 9, these are very productive year for a learner, and the cognitively, if they say, we have studied also that cognitively the brain development takes place up to 95% in early years. So that we have to somehow incorporate that how technology can be used for meaningful learning in class, meaningful learning outside class also. As we have said, it can be, we have various media source, like Madam was saying, it is not only the curricular perspective. If you will look at the policy, and there is very in detail, it has dealt in point 4 of the policy. The policy has around 28 points, and the point 4 deals with the curriculum and pedagogies of school education learners. And then when you come to higher education, you come from point 20 when you talk of pedagogies in higher learners. So those have been mentioned there. The point is here that how we can operationalize this. So very important in your 2-day deliberations. Again and again, I would sound cliched if I say transforming pedagogy is a very relevant thought, and I must congratulate the IQAC, the Education Department of Vasanta College, along with Madam, that they have talked of transformative pedagogies in light of NEP 2020, because NEP 2020 has talked of a different sort of learner, a different sort of institutions which will have more multidisciplinary, more vocational, more innovative thoughts in the teaching learning process. So if that has to be kept in mind, these sort of transforming pedagogies, like Meenakshi mentioned, social pedagogy, peace pedagogy, Socratic pedagogy, these will have to be operationalized. These we will have to put in words and in how they can be put in action. That we will have to do in such seminars, and I'm sure after 2 days we will have some guidelines of operationalizing such terms which are mentioned in the policy, and that would actually lead a way forward to the implementation, to the thought of the essence of the National Education Policy 2020. Now coming to institutions, when I read the policy, what I feel that probably we did not have model institutions. When I look at the policy, many things which are already there in when we talk of Banaras Hindu University, when we talk of colleges like Vasanta College, we are multidisciplinary from the time of inception. It is nothing new that we have to diversify into various disciplines. We were there multidisciplinary. We had courses. When you look at old curriculum of Banaras Hindu University, people who have chances, in 1950s they had courses like value education, and it was there in the engineering discipline also. It was not IIT then, it was Banco then it became Institute of Technology, but they had a course of value religion education. So, and all students of Banaras Hindu University had to attend this course of religion education, value education. It was an essential course then. So it is not something new for us. Probably we just have to revisit those things which have been given in the policy guidelines. It is difficult for old institutions like I would say Vasanta College, like Banaras Hindu University to frame. It is easier for the new institutions because they don't have जैसे मैं बोलूँगी ना कि हम लोग तो पुराने बरगद के पेड़ हो गए हैं, 100 साल 150 साल पुराने हैं. अब उसमें नई नई चीज़ें, नई पेड़ जब लगाते हैं तो आप उसको काट सकते हैं, स्ट्रक्चर दे सकते हैं. पुराने पेड़ को स्ट्रक्चर देने में थोड़ा समय लगता है, एंड दैट इज़ वाई वी आर टेकिंग just a few more time for implementing NEP. I'm sure it will be done very soon. And when it is done, it will be easier for Vasanta College because they follow the same structure. NCT, as for teacher education is concerned, we have already been given a structure from NCT for 4-year integrated B.Ed program. Let us see how we integrate it in our teaching learning process. With these few words, I would once again congratulate Meenakshi and Professor Seema for holding a seminar on such a, again I said, it might sound cliche, in such a relevant topic which will definitely bring operationalization to the transformative pedagogy. The term, as Madam said, sounds very...
Now before moving ahead, I want to share something with you all that we have with us Dr. Neha Singh. She is an artist. इसके अलावा आपने हाल ही में 3,55,488 अंगुलियों के निशान से अपनी गौ माता की सबसे बड़ी फिंगरप्रिंट प्रिंटिंग भी बनाई है और जिसके लिए यूरेशिया विश्व रिकॉर्ड में that she has prepared logo of our college. I request for release. धन्यवाद. Now we have reached the end of the inaugural session and there are so many people. The formal vote of thanks. Professor Archana Tiwari. Ma'am, to kindly felicitate Dr. Neha Singh, who has prepared this beautiful logo for our college. Dr. Neha Singh, please come on the stage.
श्री सत्य साई यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ ह्यूमन एक्सीलेंस कलबुर्गी कर्नाटका को मैं विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद देती हूँ। सर, आपके वक्तव्य इस समय में इस सेमिनार के लिए आपने जो अपना बहुमूल्य समय हमें दिया वो हमारे लिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है और उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। आपका दिया हुआ ये वक्तव्य हमें एक नया आयाम देता है क्योंकि बिना वैल्यू एजुकेशन का शायद कोई भी टेक्नोलॉजी हो, कोई भी पेडागोजी हो, कुछ भी हो, हम इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं कर पाएंगे। तो सबसे पहले ज़रूरी है हमारे लिए वैल्यू जो आपने हमें बताया और उस पर हम चलने के लिए आगे कोशिश भी करेंगे। इसके लिए सर बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर के रूप में प्रोफेसर लता पिले मैडम, फॉर्मर एडवाइज़र NEP को विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद। मैडम, मुझे आज बिल्कुल वो दिन याद आ रहा था कि कैसे NEP का असेसमेंट हो रहा है और सच में जब आप बोलने लगी तो थोड़ी देर के लिए तो मुझे ऐसा लगा अभी बहुत कुछ करना है, अभी आगे भी बहुत कुछ देखना है, बहुत कुछ इम्प्लीमेंट करना है। तो जो आपने सिखाया मैम और जो आपने हम लोगों को एक नया डायमेंशन दिया उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। चीफ गेस्ट के मुख्य अतिथि के रूप में मैं जो है अंजलि मैम को विशेष धन्यवाद देती हूँ। मैम, आपका वक्तव्य हमारे लिए इंसाइटफुल रहा, वैल्यूबल रहा और मोटिवेशनल रहा। मैम, आपको जब भी कॉलेज में हम लोगों ने याद किया आप रही और आप हमारे कॉलेज की एक पार्ट भी हैं, तो इसके लिए मैं आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देती हूँ। IQAC की कोऑर्डिनेटर प्रोफेसर सीमा श्रीवास्तव जी को धन्यवाद। आपका स्नेहपूर्ण सहयोग हम सभी को एक नई ऊर्जा देता है। इसके साथ पहाड़े सर, जब भी हम लोग कठिनाई में फंसे, पहाड़े सर ही हम लोग के लिए संकट मोचन बन के सामने आए इसके लिए सर आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। रूपा मैम को भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। साथ ही सभागार में जितने भी उपस्थित हमारे प्रतिभागी हैं, सभी अध्यापक अध्यापिकाएं हैं, छात्राएं हैं, मैं उन सभी का धन्यवाद करती हूँ, क्योंकि आपके बगैर ये सफल आयोजन हो ही नहीं सकता था। जब तक आप हमारे बीच में नहीं हैं, तब तक हम कोई भी आयोजन कंप्लीट नहीं कर सकते हैं। इसके साथ हमारे टेक्निकल स्टाफ, सपोर्ट स्टाफ, ऑफिस स्टाफ, एओ सर, त्रिकाल शर्मा जी, स्वदेश जी, धीरेन्द्र जी, आप सभी के सहयोग के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आपके सहयोग से ही हम लोग इस कार्यक्रम को क्रियान्वित कर पाए हैं। आप सभी, डॉक्टर प्रीति सिंह, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ पॉलिटिकल साइंस, इस इनॉग्रल सेशन को खूबसूरती रूप से संचालित करने के लिए आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और अंत में उन सारे दृश्य और अदृश्य शक्तियों के प्रति भी मैं नमन करती हूँ और उन्हें धन्यवाद देती हूँ कि उन्होंने प्रत्यक्ष और अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से इस सेमिनार को सफल बनाने में सहयोग दिया। थैंक यू। आप सब लोग हाई टी के लिए आमंत्रित हैं और 12:30 पे यहाँ पे प्लेनरी सेशन होगा। एग्जैक्ट 12:30 पे आप सब यहाँ आ जाइएगा। थैंक यू। होम साइंस का स्टॉल लगा है, आप सभी उसको विजिट कर सकते हैं, देख सकते हैं, तो एक बार जरूर जाइएगा देखने। होम साइंस डिपार्टमेंट हमारा बहुत एक्टिव है, जरूर जाइएगा देखने।